Would you believe there's a Japanese garden so vast you could wander for hours and still not see it all? I was amazed to learn that the world's largest traditional Japanese garden is tucked away in Osaka, Japan, spanning a whopping 64 acres. That's about 35 soccer fields. It's like discovering a hidden kingdom of ponds, bridges, and blossoms where you can actually walk through 1,000 years of garden history in one afternoon. And talk about a backyard time machine. This place instantly grabbed my imagination. Located in Osaka's Expo 70 Commemorative Park, this massive Japanese garden was originally built as a showpiece for the 1970 World's Fair, Expo 70. The Expo was a huge event. Over 64 million people visited. And Japan wanted to impress the world. So what better way than creating a living exhibit of its finest gardens? Unlike most traditional gardens that stick to one historical style, this one is like 4 gardens in one, flowing through 4 distinct eras of Japanese history. In fact, the designers laid it out as a journey through time. You start at the western end in an ancient style section and move eastward to modern times, following a little stream that symbolizes the passage of time. I find that design quirk so cool. It's literally a timeline you can stroll through. Even after the expo ended, they didn't tear this exhibit down. Thank goodness! Instead, it was preserved as a permanent park treasure. Over the decades, the plants and trees have matured beautifully. You'd never guess this oasis is only about 50 years old. It now feels as authentic and serene as if it had been there for centuries. And the sheer scale of it still blows my mind. To put it in perspective, one of Japan's most famous historic gardens, Kenrokuen in Kanazawa, is around 11.4 hectares, or just about 25 acres, less than half the size of this 64-acre giant. No other Japanese garden in the world can quite match it for size and scope, so it truly stands out as a must-see. As you wander through this expansive garden, you pass through 4 major zones. Each zone immerses you in a different period of Japanese garden style, with its own unique atmosphere and surprises. The first is known as the Ancient Garden. The journey begins in the Heian period section, which feels like stepping over 1,000 years into the past. This part has a natural spring bubbling up. It actually feeds water to the entire garden and symbolizes the origin of life and time. Around the spring are rugged rocks standing like mini mountains, and areas of raked sand shaped like shorelines. Back in those days, Japanese gardens were inspired by Chinese aesthetics, so this area is open and scenic, with flowing water and strategically placed stones that mimic a wild landscape. It's peaceful and a bit untamed in style, reflecting the elegant, courtly gardens of ancient Japan. Next is the medieval garden. You transition into a totally different vibe influenced by Zen Buddhism. The medieval section, which is the Kamakura and Muromachi periods, embraces minimalist beauty. Think Karisansui dry gardens, where white gravel is raked to represent water. It's like walking into a living Zen painting. In fact, one of the coolest features here is that you can walk over a large Zen rock garden on a specially designed bridge. Usually, you only admire those raked sand gardens from the outside. But here they let you literally immerse yourself by crossing right above the rippling patterns. How awesome is that? This area also has subtle tea houses tucked in the landscape and carefully placed stones with deep symbolic meanings, creating a meditative atmosphere. I felt like I should tiptoe and whisper, "It's so tranquil and artful." Third is the early modern garden. Moving on, the garden opens up into a grand strolling garden reminiscent of the feudal lord estates of the Edo era. The centerpiece here is a huge pond called Shinji-ike. which is intriguingly shaped like the Japanese kanji character for heart. Essentially, a heart-shaped pond. Pathways meander all around this lake, deliberately planned so that every few steps reveal a new postcard-worthy view. I loved how the designers used borrowed scenery tricks, incorporating distant hills and greenery into the composition of the garden. It makes the space feel even bigger, blending seamlessly with the surroundings. Little islands dot the pond, representing mythological places and legends, adding a storybook touch to the scenery. Walking here feels romantic and immersive. You can almost imagine a samurai lord and lady enjoying the exact same view centuries ago. The heart pond and surrounding landscape are like a greatest hits compilation of classic Japanese garden techniques, all in one place. And the fourth garden is the 20th century modern garden. Finally, the journey concludes in a section that represents modern Japanese garden design, influenced by Western ideas and contemporary art. This part feels more creative and playful, a noticeable departure from the tradition you've seen so far. One highlight is the koi-like pond, which features artistic arrangements of cut stones and is home to around 60 colorful koi carps swimming around. After the more subtle earlier sections, this area pops with life and a bit of whimsy. The design here doesn't try to mimic natural landscapes as much. Instead, it experiments with form and modern aesthetics, almost like the garden is winking at its own tradition. It still ties back to Japanese principles. You'll spot touches of the wabi-sabi idea, the beauty in imperfection, but it definitely feels updated and different. It's really interesting to see a traditional garden embrace the 20th century like this, complete with flashy koi fish and all. It shows that Japanese garden art is a living tradition, continuing to evolve. Throughout all these sections, the garden maintains an atmosphere of elegant simplicity and harmony with nature. There are gentle transitions between each era. Often a stream or path will subtly lead you from one time period to the next. I almost didn't notice when I left one zone and entered another, until I looked around and thought, wow, everything's changed style. It's a testament to how well thought out the layout is. After learning and virtually wandering through this incredible garden, I'm practically glowing with excitement. This place isn't just for hardcore garden enthusiasts. It's for anyone who appreciates history, beauty, or just a peaceful walk in nature. Where else can you time travel through a millennium of culture in a single afternoon and in such a gorgeous setting? Whether you're fascinated by Zen rock gardens or you just want a serene spot to escape the city, the Expo 70 Japanese Garden has something to charm you. Personally, next time I'm in Osaka, I'll make a beeline for this garden and probably spend half a day there, if not more. I can imagine sitting by that heart-shaped pond or standing on the bridge over the Zen sand sea, feeling like I'm part of a living postcard. If you ever find yourself in the Osaka area, don't miss it. Even if you're not into gardens, this one might just surprise you and steal your heart. It's a perfect example of how a well-designed place can be both educational and soul-soothing. Visiting the world's largest Japanese garden is like stepping into a peaceful storybook. And who wouldn't want to experience that? So, shall we plan a trip to this magical garden someday? Please enjoy the rest of this visual journey through the gardens of Osaka's Expo 70 Commemorative Park, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching!
you.